Well, good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully everybody's having a good time and getting an enriching experience this morning, continuing to stoke the fire of friendship that this conference sparks. By a round of applause, how's everybody feeling right now? All right. Hope you're meeting new people, engaging in enriching experiences through the workshops. As we continue our general sessions, please join me in welcoming to the stage past District Governor Rick Deeby to offer a reflection.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians, Rotaractors, and our youth exchange students. We're glad that you're here. Just as we've seen in this previous video, the Rotary Foundation is a fantastic vehicle that improves lives both locally and internationally. The challenges, though, that we see every day and what we've seen this weekend gives us pause. Sometimes it can discourage us. Sometimes it even gets us to think the task is too big. Yet time and time again, individual Rotarians and Rotaractors, they dig in, they push forward, they implement new ideas, and they get the job done. Wherever my wife Terry and I have traveled, here and abroad, we found that Rotarians have been warm, welcoming, really committed to the communities that they live in and to the communities that they don't live in. If you want to enhance your Rotary experience, the future has a lot of things that open up. You can have a bigger impact on the things that you're passionate about. So I appeal to you to step forward, to join me and others on the things that we've seen this weekend, the ideas and some of the projects that may be beyond your borders. The service projects that I've been involved in, both locally and abroad, have not only improved a lot of lives, but they have made a significant impact for me throughout my life. You can do a lot, you can do greater things than you think. You can uplift more people than you normally see, or empower those that need a helping hand or just a little bit of effort. You may even inspire people who had never ever had an idea of joining Rotary because of the things that you do, the work that you display, and you can make a positive impact that may impress upon them for their lives. It will cement you to a life of Rotary, and you will be a believer. It'll also reverberate service above self, everyone in this room believes in that concept. So I want to thank you for all the things that you do for Rotary, and especially for the things that you're going to do in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick, for encouraging us all to act both locally and globally. Well, with that, it is now time for lunch, and it smells good already. Tables will be released by the waitstaff, and Sergeants at Arms will collect your meal ticket at the start of the buffet line back there. Please enjoy.
In case you missed it, we're looking back at the Tournament for Positive Peace match held in sunny Naki Valley Refugee Settlement, sponsored by the local Rotaract Club. And oh my, were the stars out for this one. We had Rotary International President Jennifer Jones cheering for her favorite team, Peace Angels. And Hollywood actress Sibongile Bulambo, of course, supporting her team, Team Hope. Even the cows didn't want to miss all of the excitement.
Game on, game on.
The match started with a bang. Both teams were relentless, but there was no signs of aggression on the pitch. The players just seemed to be having a good time. But that is what it's all about, having fun and keeping the peace.
13 different nations all living here in the refugee settlement. That's amazing.
Yeah.
At the half, the teams were still 0-0, and their supporters stepped in to offer the players words of encouragement.
I am so proud of all of you. I was watching out there, the energy, the enthusiasm, and the skill.
But what's this? Peace Angels appear to be chanting the name of their competitor, Team Hope. And that was just the encouragement Hope needed, because they scored the winning goal of the game and won 1-0. However, there are no losers in this match, only winners.
I love it. That was awesome.
Until next time, have a peaceful day.
I want to see more match highlights from that. That was really good. Well, welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your lunch. And with this, I now call TriCon 2023 Plenary Session number 4 to order. Here from the Rotary Club of Green Bay to offer a few words is past District 6220 Governor Tom Guyette. Tom is the chair of the Rotary Western Great Lakes District Conference Planning Council, so at this time, please welcome Tom to the stage.
What a conference. Has everybody had a good time? Terrific, thank you very much. First of all, Western Great Lakes is an organization, and we like to try to take a look at that as we supply the house. So if you think about that, the organization supplies the house. The district governors each year and the conference committee, they furnish that house, and they put together the program that you've been through the last day and a half. So as the conference members here, you're kind of the house guests, and that's what we try to do, is to put on a good conference for you. Rotary Western Great Lakes was founded under the leadership of Rick Deeb, past District Governor Rick Deeb, and the bylaws were written by past District Governor Tammy Coop from 6270 and past District Governor Tom Freeze from 6220. And they set up the organization that we have today. They set up 2-year terms for that organization, so everybody serves a 2-year term, and they're staggered, so we try to keep the continuity of the organization going. Terms now for people will be ending in June of this year, so I'd like those people whose terms are ending for Rotary Western Great Lakes to please stand. That would include Dave Anderson from 6220, who was the Bylaws and Nominating Committee Chair, Ben Bauer from 6250, Mike Phillips from 6270, Larry Myers, the Registration Chair, Nancy Leipzig, and all of the other people from Western Great Lakes that will be retiring at the end of this year. Will you everybody stand? And please give... Thank you very much for your service over the last couple of years. It's been an honor to work with you. In May, at our annual meeting on May 8th, we will revise our bylaws and put together and publish our policy and procedures manual, and that will ensure over the long run really a solid base for this organization going forward. And we have good leadership going forward, so I think it's going to be well done, and this is really our second live conference, and we will continue, I think, to provide a great program for all of the Rotarians going forward. Our conference committee chairs, Heather Dyer and Jason Byrne, and they'll be here in a minute. They've been meeting with the district governors and the planning committee for well over a year, and they meet every week. So there are so many hours put together to put this thing together that's hard to imagine. Every week for over a year that they put working on this particular conference today. And it's basically also a 3-year planning process. So we're well on our way of planning for the 24 conference, and we've just recently set up the site for the 2025 conference. So that's all the planning that goes involved in this, putting this together. It seems like it just takes a little while, but believe me, it's many, many hours of work, and these people put in a tremendous amount of time. So I'd like to call on Heather and Jason to talk a little bit about, but let's give them a thank you for putting this together.
Thank you so much. As the conference chair of TriCon, I would like to express my gratitude for your participation and support in making this event a huge success. Without your presence and enthusiasm, this conference would not have been possible. We'd also need to thank a very special thanks to all of our committee chairs who have devoted countless hours of their time and expertise to ensure that every aspect of this conference was executed flawlessly. You will see the names on the screen, but conference chairs, please come forward. I'd like you to stand in front here and be recognized. So we have Vice Chair Jason Barron, Rotary Club of Madison. Please hold your applause until the end. Registration Chair Larry Myers, Rotary Club of Whitnall Park. Registration Vice Chair Cindy Petted, Rotary Club of Cedarburg Grafton. Facilities Chair Darla Like, Rotary Club of Marshfield. Programs Chair Nancy Leipids, Rotary Club of Appleton. Just come right on up here, folks, right in front and be recognized. Don't be shy now. Marketing Chair Dennis Tan, Rotary Club of Wausau. Sponsorship Chair Marissa Dickinson, Rotary Club of La Crosse After Hours. Sponsorship Vice Chair Judy Nagel, Rotary Club of Green Bay. Speaker Chair Karen Abert, Rotary Club of Chippewa Valley After Hours. House of Friendship Francis Parker, Rotary Club of Madison Breakfast. Sergeant at Arms Rob Bassett, Rotary Club of Mitchell Field. PowerPoint Creations Bob Spencer and Bill Hull, Rotary Club of La Crescent and Rotary Club of La Crosse. Script and Stage Manager, Jeff Reed, Rotary Club of Fond du Lac, Sunrise. Our MC, Dustin Lukey, Rotary Club of La Crosse After Hours. Evaluations, Todd Nielsen, Rotary Club of Two Rivers. And our Activities Fun Walk, even though we didn't actually have it, there was still a lot of work. Wayne Oliver, Rotary Club of La Crescent. So every chair needs a few great wingmen. So I had a few, Jason Barron and Francis Parker. Please, thank you to both. We're not quite yet. You brought forth ideas, you were my double check, and as we say in our business, you moved without the ball. So much thanks for all of your contributions in keeping me sane and doing a good job. So to all of the committee, thank you. My sincere gratitude. You did an amazing job throughout this entire thing. You let me move time frames up on you, and you tried new things, and I'm just so appreciative of all the work that you did and what we were able to execute here this weekend. So thank you, and one last round of applause for the committee. Thank you. Now you may sit down. Now you may sit down. I'd also like to thank several district-wide committee volunteers that made a huge difference in this conference. So if you will stand at your chairs, our youth leaders, and you can see their names on the screen, but Bill, Jan, Susan, and Ellen, thank you. Our Polio Plus leaders, Sierra, Brian, Kathy, and Rob, thank you very much for all your work. We're gonna have a fun night tonight. Our foundation chairs, Aaron, Roger, and Steen, thank you very much. And our service project, the meal packing, which will happen this afternoon, Eric, Andy, and Dave, we appreciate everything that you've done to make this a success. Thank you. Additionally, I would like to thank all of our workshop speakers for sharing their insight and knowledge with us. Your presentations were inspiring, informative, and thought-provoking. Please stand and be recognized. Lastly, we would all here at TriCon like to express our appreciation to the entire team who worked tireless behind the scenes to bring this conference to fruition. From the logistics teams at the La Crosse Center and Radisson, setup crews, catering staff, servers, event coordinators, management, and to our AV friends at Magic Productions. Everyone's contribution was crucial to the success of this event. One more round of applause, please. Once again, thank you for making TriCon a memorable and enjoyable experience, and we hope to see you again next year. Right?
And our big thanks for Heather's leadership throughout this journey and the planning of everything. She's inspired us and made it easy to say yes to this committee. So thank you, Heather, as well. As you may know, we are presenting several awards today. Here to explain the significance of those awards is our president's representative, Tom Gump, once again.
Thank you, Dustin. Well, good afternoon, family of Rotary. It's great to be here again with all of you. Now comes the exciting part. You know, we get to, and it's our honor as all of us together, to award the Service Above Self Awards this afternoon. Now, it's interesting. I've been to a lot of district conferences over the years, and I've never been to an event where 2 Service Above Self Awards were awarded at the same event. Because you see, this is a very prestigious honor. There's only 150 awards that are given of this type, the Rotary International Service Above Self Award, in a given year. And it has to be only 1 person per district, and we have 536 districts, so not every district gets a recipient. It is considered to be the highest award that Rotary International can bestow on a Rotary member. So I'm going to turn the show over to Bill Pritchard, who's going to have our first Service Above Self Award, and then Mary Beth Sizer is going to present the other one. So it's exciting. See you soon.
It was my honor to nominate, and I am honored to introduce, our latest recipient of the Service Above Self Award. Now, this Rotarian of District 6250 leaves no doubt of his passion for service. Few rise so fully to embody service above self. His most recent Rotary roles leave most people exhausted. Past district governor, Midwest Pets board member, assistant zone coordinator for membership, international service committee chair, and District 6250 Ukraine relief campaign chair. Other Rotary services have included co-chairing the Kids Coulee Project that mobilized community volunteers in the La Crosse area to construct an innovative children's playground. He helped establish the Fruit Basket fundraiser for the La Crosse Downtown Club that has raised over $300,000 for this community. He led the development of the Brain Game Project, a book that teaches parents to enhance early childhood brain development with over 85,000 books in use. He helped establish the Rotary Club of Dubna, Russia, and he helped create a project called Afghan Kids that delivered school supplies to Afghanistan with the help of the 173rd Brigade. Now, like so many past winners of this award, this Rotarian's activities stretch well beyond Rotary. He was the founding president of the Freedom Honor Flight Committee in La Crosse, a community-wide gratitude to our veterans, sending 2,457 veterans so far to the Washington, D.C. area since 2008. He was the creating visionary and president of the Rotary International Friendship Gardens that celebrate the beauty and diversity of our sister cities in Russia, China, Ireland, and Norway. Friends, I am not even halfway done with the Rotary list of service to others by this Rotarian. Imagine trying to cram all of this into 500 words in an application. So it is an honor to have served with him and to quote this Rotarian, "If it is true that life's journey is being of service to others, then I know that I am in good company." Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce the man responsible, and you can kick him in his butt later, for bringing me to Rotary, and the 2022-2023 recipient of the Service Above Self Award, Mr. Chuck Hansen.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill, for that kind introduction, and thanks to District Governor Ben Bauer for nominating me, and to all those who were involved in the process. I also want to thank all the Rotarians throughout the years who were my partners in Rotary service. The good is accomplished always by a team effort. I especially want to thank my wife, Cheryl, whose advice and support have been key to my ability to serve. I've been in Rotary for over 43 years. And during that time, I've had the opportunity to help organize a variety of projects, all of which were realized because of the voluntary efforts of many people. I have repeatedly experienced the magic of Rotary, an organization begun so long ago by Paul Harris and just a handful of his friends. They met first for fellowship and to help each other in business. But then they became friends with a desire to make a difference in the lives of others. The stranger across town, across the country, across the world. This is our shared legacy. I love Rotary. Rotary doesn't care about your race, religion, sexual orientation, or your political beliefs. Rotary cares about our shared values expressed in the four-way test and our willingness to serve others. We all know that service above self is more than just a motto. It's a way of life. It's all about having fun with friends while improving the lives of others. And it just doesn't get any better than this. I'm honored by the Service Above Self Award, and I accept it acknowledging with gratitude all the people who have been part of my Rotary experience. If it is true that life's journey is being of service to others, then I do know I'm in good company with you. I look forward to the future of fellowship and service with you in Rotary for many more years to come. Thank you, friends.
Big congratulations to you, Chuck. Well deserved. Here to present the Service Above Self Award for District 6270 is past District Governor and Assistant Regional Foundation Coordinator, Mary Beth Sizer. Please welcome Mary Beth.
Yeah, Yes, those need to come down. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. We are honored today to present a Service Above Self award to a Rotarian who truly lives up to that adage. I would need an hour, at least, to list everything that on this Rotarian's agenda. But since time is limited, let's just say that we can always call on this person for anything and everything. I dare you to name one committee that he has not served on. At the club level, services have included president, secretary, and chairing various committees, including scholarships, vocational service, membership, and service projects. At the district level, this Rotarian has also been very active, serving as a district governor and chairing or sitting on many committees: planning, strategic planning, membership, technology updates, and foundation committees, including both global and district grant committees. In fact, during this Rotarian's tenure with the District Grant Committee, he worked directly with Rotary Learning Center and with Club Runner to institute changes that made district grant much easier for our district. But clubs and district duties did not keep him busy enough, so he moved on to zone responsibilities as well, including serving as an assistant Rotary coordinator for membership. And you can always find him behind the scenes as well, at district events, zone events, and pets. First, he's helping plan the activities, then coordinating the videos, even writing these scripts down to the minute details, and always in the background, making sure things are running smoothly. The international aspect is also important to this Rotarian, as is proved by his polio immunization trip to India and also a friendship exchange trip to India. And after that, he worked with his clubs to write humanitarian grants to help people in that country. Now, you would think that Rotary took up every minute of every day, but he has been active in his community as well as a community volunteer and supporter. He finds time for volunteering at the Fondi Food Pantry, serving on the board of World Affairs Seminar, and other activities which focus on making Fond du Lac a wonderful community. As I'm sure you all know by now, we are honoring Jeffrey Reed today, and we're thanking Jeff and his wife, Sylvia. Sylvia is a dedicated Rotarian in her own right, and we thank them for everything they do. Jeff is extremely dedicated to Rotary. He never expects from others what he himself doesn't do. He is generous with his time. He shares his vast knowledge to mentor others so they reach their potential in Rotary as well, and he delights in sharing Rotary with others. We're so lucky to have Jeff in District 6270. So let's congratulate Jeff and thank him for everything he does. Oh, and I have the right one. Congratulations, sir. You're very welcome. And I have the one with your name on it. And we'll get your box as well. Oh, that's Chuck's. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Beth, thank you very much. I appreciate those kind words. Thank you. When I was told I was receiving this award, I was humbled, I was speechless, and I didn't know what to say. And I found it hard to find words. And I thought about my life and what has brought me to this point. My father was a minister and my mother was a teacher. And they served their whole lives. They served their communities. My father became a Rotarian, and so my father and mother became part of the Rotary family. and they served Rotary in their community and in their district in Maryland. I've had a number of heroes along the way. Two of them were my college advisor, whose name is Dr. Sam Speck, and my mentor in graduate school, Dr. Don Hoyt. They were both servant leaders, and they taught me a lot. My maternal grandmother, Norma, she was only about this tall. I called her Shorty. But Shorty was a role model for me. She lived in the inner city in Milwaukee, but she had the good fortune to have a nice house and a huge garden. And she grew rhubarb, and she grew asparagus, and had apple trees and pear trees and currant bushes and a huge tomato patch. And during the Depression and then into World War II, she helped her neighbors. When they had little or nothing, she gave them food. She helped her neighbors. And so I learned by observing others, by watching what they did and the ways in which they gave back to their community. I spent many years as a professor teaching college students. Why? Because it was a way that I could give back to other people, the way that I could use my knowledge, my talents, my experiences to help other people learn and grow. In 2000, in 2000, I joined Rotary. I had just moved from Rochester, New York to Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I joined Rotary because it was a way to network. I didn't know anybody in town. And so I joined Rotary for networking, and I stayed for the service. Because Rotary, my club, and our district offered me a host of opportunities. They offered me a host of opportunities to serve my community, to serve my club, to serve my district, and eventually to serve the zone. I became a Rotarian shortly after I joined. I had the opportunity to go to Siberia, Russia, to observe a project, a microloan project that my club had started in Siberia, where we were helping farmers to improve their lives. And watching those Russian farmers and working with my fellow Rotarians, I really began to understand what Rotary was all about, serving other people. Rotary is an amazing organization. My job is to do my part. I've learned from others. I've not done it alone. I've gained many, many, many friends and associates and helpers who've helped me with their hands to give back, to be of service. And I want to say thank you to all of my fellow Rotarians, all my friends, my mentors, for showing me the way and being of service. So thank you.
Congratulations as well, Jeff, and thank you for, over these past couple of years, working with you as part of TriCon, becoming a great Rotary friend of mine as well, and an inspiration, certainly. Viterbo University inspires students to make an impact on the world by offering a Franciscan values-based education, individualized care and attention, hands-on learning, and nationally recognized online and traditional graduate and undergraduate programs. Their Master's of Arts and Servant Leadership degree is designed for individuals who aspire to be servant leaders in their careers and their communities by promoting ethical decision-making, leadership skills, and public activity. Here to introduce our next speaker from Viterbo University, and for me, the pleasure of introducing the second time this week, Rick Kite.
Are y'all ready to think outside the box? Whether you're ready or not, that's what you're going to be doing as you listen to our next speaker. Our speaker's been doing this for years. Clare Richards did it when she co-founded the St. Cloud Rotaract in 2015. She did it when she co-founded a startup called Impacts. She is the St. Cloud 5 Under 40 Award recipient, a member of the Central Minnesota Community Foundation, a member of the Advisory Council for the University of Minnesota-led Center for Integrative Leadership. Please help me welcome Clare Richards to speak about engaging young leaders.
Hello. How do we engage emerging leaders? How do we crack the code to these rising stars? This is a conversation I've had with Rotarians across the country. It's a really important conversation. Many of you are probably in this boat. Perhaps you have clubs with aging members, and you're struggling to bring in the young members that will continue the legacy of your club. This is an important conversation to have. And it's a timely one. We know that we have about 25 years to crack this code before our organization is at risk of dying. In 25 years, the last of Gen X will be retired. Now, I know that that doesn't mean they're going to stop involvement with Rotary as an organization. But we know that the workplace, the professional network, this is often where membership begins, where we find those dedicated community servants and engage them in the mission of Rotary. So in the next 25 years, we're going to have to figure out how to do that with millennials and Gen Z. Now, 25 years might seem like a long time. I would argue in an organization that's 118 years old, not so long. But don't worry, there are much closer looming deadlines. Take, for instance, the fact that by 2025, more than 75% of the workforce will be made up of millennials and Gen Z. That means they will control much of workplace culture, much of our local economies. They will begin to set the stage for generational charitable giving. 2025 is right around the corner. But here's the problem. We all have a somewhat skewed perception of this issue. A quick Google search will net you somewhere like this: how every other generation is at fault for everything that's wrong with the world, right? We've all seen this. It's easy to get in this cycle. But we're not going to do that today. We're not going to spend any time talking about how the other generations suck. It's not productive. It's not productive, you guys. Here's the reality. You will not be able to course correct an entire generation. So even if you're frustrated working with younger people, even if they don't take the same approach to community work or professional work as you do, you're still going to have to find ways to bridge the divide. That is what it means to build a pipeline and to ensure the future of this organization. We are going to focus on bridging the divide. So I'll share just a little bit of my background and why I am so passionate about this topic. Back in 2015, my husband and I co-founded the St. Cloud Rotaract. I hope you guys all know what Rotaract is. It's a part of the Rotary world. For the few of you in this room who might not know, it is a club structure designed for ages 18 plus and really focused on engaging the emerging leader category in the work and mission of Rotary. Fast forward a few years, I was part of the St. Cloud Chamber Leadership Program, which was a regional cohort in which I met inspiring leaders in my community that continue to mentor me today. A few years after that, I was very fortunate to be in something called the Minnesota Young American Leaders Program. This is an intense, Harvard-based curriculum in which they actually fly Harvard professors to teach us around this topic. How do we build ecosystems? All the while, I was at an agency called VI, in which I managed young teams, I collaborated with young teams, and I worked with clients on these really robust strategies on how to engage young people. Because guess what? We are all competing with each other when it comes to getting the attention of young people, for-profits, nonprofits, professional organizations, all of us. And I believe all of my experiences have culminated into a deeper understanding of how we can begin to bridge the divide. We're going to talk about some data and some specific strategies, but first we should probably define this. What is an emerging leader? This can be tricky because a lot of it has to do with your own self-perception. But for the purpose of this presentation, I'm going to be referencing a study that I did with the local Economic Development Center, in which we surveyed a few hundred folks in the region, of which the vast majority fell between 25 and 44. So today, I'm going to talk mostly about millennials, and then I'll talk a little bit about our favorite up-and-comers, the Gen Zers, okay? So when we talk about millennials, generally speaking, we're talking about an age category of 27 to 42. And there are a few things that really have shaped who they are today, how they make decisions. And the reason I start here is because I think we need to get on an empathetic level and understand the root cause of their decision-making behaviors if we want to truly engage them. The first thing I want to highlight is the fact that the vast majority entered the workforce during the Great Recession. I liken this to the experience our grandparents and our great-grandparents went through for the Great Depression, not in the severity of those events, but in the fact that when an entire generation has an experience like that, it stays with them. Right away, as these millennials were entering the workforce, they learned out the gate not to trust their employer, not to trust institutions. They learned financial insecurity. And even as they age and gain financial security, those feelings still exist. We also know that this generation has crippling debt and decreased income compared to prior generations. A study was done comparing baby boomers in the age category of around 30 back in the 80s compared to the same age category of millennials in the 2010s. And that study found that millennials earn 20% less than baby boomers, adjusted for inflation, measuring the same group of people. Millennials also have half the number of assets to their name as compared to a prior generation, which is unfortunate considering everything else has gone up. Gross median rent has increased by 164%. Average home costs, 137%. Average college expense, 180%. That's not even talking about healthcare, childcare, food costs, you name it. Everything has gone up, income has gone down. So what does that mean for an organization that really relies on donations? You have to work for those dollars. It has to matter. It has to matter to the younger people that you're targeting if you want to compete for fewer resources. We know that millennials were also the first to truly grow up entrenched in technology, which came with social media, this new idea of community. But social media comes with its flaws. We're all familiar with this, right? An idyllic life, filterized. It's almost impossible to tell reality from fantasy. And so when I speak to business leaders, organizational leaders, this complaint comes up again and again, that frustration that I talked about before. Why are young people so sensitive? Right? I'm sure some of you have had that feeling before. Why are they so sensitive? They can't take any critique at all. Maybe it's because from a very young age, through social media, we have trained them to care what complete strangers think of them. And if you care deeply about what strangers think of you, what happens to people closer to your ecosystem, your family, your friends, your coworkers, your boss? It cuts deep. Now, I'm not excusing the behavior, but once we understand the root cause, once we know that this is a trained behavior, through our leadership, we can help people untrain that behavior. And I think that's our responsibility as leaders when we encounter these frustrations, is to come at it from a problem-solving lens. Now, social media is often blamed for our attention span, which on average for millennials is 12 seconds, 6 for Gen Z. Yeah, that means you have either 6 or 12 seconds to get the attention of these young people, to go to your events, to donate to your causes, to get involved. That is not a lot of time. We also know about this generation, 60% are at any given time looking for a new career, and 55% are not engaged at work. We're talking about a disconnected generation. Engagement is the name of the game. How do we get people to raise their hand and say yes, whether you're an employer or on behalf of your Rotary clubs? And engagement starts with motivation. So now we're going to look at some of that survey data I talked about. When asked what motivates them, 82% said meaningful work, 66% said emotional fulfillment, and 83% said work-life balance. This tracks, right, with everything we just talked about? But then when you ask them what would motivate them to make a significant change, like let's say to switch careers, what do you think they said? Money, you got it. Yeah, absolutely. And this absolutely translates into the work you do for your Rotary clubs. Because here's the thing. If you have a transient population that's switching careers frequently, moving around frequently, it's really hard to get them to engage with you because they have instability in their lives. And that becomes priority number one. So this is frustrating, right? Because on one hand, they're telling us we want meaning and fulfillment, and on the other hand, they're saying, but I'll also just take the cold, hard cash. But we have to remember, 55% of millennials are not engaged at work. And when you're indifferent to your employer and to your career, why wouldn't you make a switch for money? Now, there is hope. When we ask them to put it into their own words, we see the pendulum swing back. We see comments like this: feeling connected to my team, positive feelings of self-worth and contribution among achievement. Sounds a lot like what a Rotarian might say, right? In fact, in over 200 responses, hardly any had anything to do with money. And so, what are they looking for? When we look at local and national data, the same words come up again and again and again. We see things like purpose, meaning, respect. They want autonomy, ownership, connection, and perhaps above all else, they want achievement. And this is good news for organizations like ours, because the bar is high. You can't build this into a paycheck. You can't build this into a job description. There's no such thing as a checklist that makes sure these things get done. But with work and effort, we can facilitate environments that offer these things to the people we're attracting to our clubs. And yes, it will take work, but guess what? Rotarians are hard workers, so it's good news for us. Now I'm going to share just 2 strategies that I think will help you facilitate these things in your organizations. The first is this: how can you find ways to give young people flexibility and autonomy? In the survey, we saw comments like this again and again. I would take/keep a lower paying job if it offered the flexibility I needed. 73% said they preferred a hybrid working environment. Yes, we can blame COVID, but the reality is we were already on this path. COVID simply accelerated it. Young people want flexibility, and they want control over their lives. There's this skewed perception, however. When I say flexibility, here's what I mean. How do you allow the people in your groups to get work done when, where, and how they best see fit? When, where, and how. This is critical, and it has to be a mutual agreement. You as the leader must agree with the people in your organization about the terms of the agreement. But if you can find ways to allow them to get their work done when, where, and how they best see fit, you begin to create autonomy and flexibility. The second strategy I want to cover is giving levels of achievement. There's this great term, some of you may have heard of it, gamification. The process of adding games or game-like elements to something so as to encourage participation. This is a strategy that for-profits, nonprofits, professional groups across the entire world leverage in order to engage a population. We talked a lot about achievement earlier. That was the big word on screen, right? How do you make people feel as if they're leveling up constantly? We know that millennials spend an average of 2 years and 9 months in any given job. It's not a long time, you guys, and I have to imagine it's even less for volunteer engagements. Some of you in this room have been in Rotary for 30 plus years. Think about the impact you've had in 30 years. How do you truncate that in less than 3? You can't. So we have to find ways to extend that commitment. One way to do that is through something I call growth paths. This applies both to the professional world and nonprofit world. And it's a strategy by which you are helping visualize a trajectory. Oftentimes when we talk to young people, they're not necessarily thinking 20 years down the road where they want to be or what that looks like. And how can we use visual tools to help them dream big, to help them achieve? And now the response I often get from business leaders is, there's no way we can take someone from here all the way to here in any reasonable time frame. To which I usually respond, well, it's not really the point. Your job as a leader is to help them visualize, help them understand their potential trajectory, and then you pitch your organization as an avenue to get them on that path. It's our jobs to constantly help these young people understand how Rotary can be the catalyst in their growth. Now, I like to map it out when I talk to young people as a pathway. And it starts with saying yes, raising your hand. Saying yes to opportunities leads to connection. Connection to people, to places, to organizations. When you establish that connection, more opportunities come your way. You start to become that person that everybody thinks about when they're trying to find someone to help them, someone to highlight, someone to lift up. Your name starts coming up more and more often. Those opportunities inevitably lead to growth. We grow as humans, both personally and professionally, and that growth leads to legacy. Legacy, the thing that we are all looking for, whether we know it or not. Even if young people aren't thinking like, I'm going to build a legacy. That doesn't even begin to encapsulate what legacy truly means. To me, legacy is this. How do we know with certainty that the time we spend on this planet has been worthwhile? How do we know that our lives are meaningful? Everybody wants that. Young people especially in the disconnected world we live in. Every young person is looking to build legacy, whether or not they call it that. This is what I believe. I believe our job as Rotarians, as Rotaractors, as leaders in our community, our job is to help the young people in our life understand this path. I can't tell you how many times I've had young people join Rotaract, and after a couple meetings, I'll have a conversation with them, and I'll say, what made you join Rotaract? And they'll say, My boss made me. Ugh, it's like the worst answer. It's the worst answer, but the thing is, they don't know yet. They haven't figured it out. They don't know that Rotary and Rotaract can change their life. That Rotary and Rotaract can be the catalyst to their future. They don't know yet, but they will. How do we accelerate that? How do we get them there faster? I think it's by telling our own stories. Every single person in this room said yes somewhere along the line, and it's led you to the life you live today, to the people you know today, your best friends, your business connections, everyone in between. There was a yes somewhere in your past. Find a way to articulate that story to the young people in your life to inspire them. Right after this, I'll be giving a presentation about Rotaract. Rotaract is a way for you to do this in a formalized structure within your community. So I invite you to join me for that session, and we'll dig into how to make it happen. I think if we can do this, if we can help young people understand their own potential trajectory, we will absolutely crack the code to rising stars and engage emerging leaders. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Claire, for those inspiring words and sharing really the story of our generation and encouraging all of us here to share their own stories to help lead by example. In appreciation for your service, TriCon will be making a donation to Polio Plus in your name. So let's hear it once again for Claire. Thank you. Well, just a few housekeeping notes as we are approaching 2 o'clock and we want to get to those breakout sessions. Number of workshops still to come, including that Young Leaders session with Claire, refugee support, experiences of global scholars, and more. Unfortunately, the session putting positive peace to work, the local Rotary effect, has been canceled. And a reminder, this is your last opportunity to visit the House of Friendship to check out the La Crosse area Interact clubs, the Rotary Club of Green Bay, and CART among them. So check out the House of Friendship. It closes at our final session at 3 p.m. Now, the silent auction closed at noon. Thank you again to all the clubs who contributed to that. And we do have our silent auction winners here. So if you do have to depart before the closing session, please make sure to check out at the registration area right after this session. If you are staying for the closing session, just so we don't have traffic issues, please check out following the closing session. And I should mention that because of this silent auction, we raised more than $4,000 for polio efforts. So thank you to all who contributed. And of course, speaking of that, don't forget the Pints for Polio event coming up tonight. If you haven't done so yet, swing by the registration area to pick up your pint glass and passport before our closing session at 3 p.m. Again, thanks to our participating locations: Big Al's, The Crow, Christos Taverna, Dublin Square Irish Pub and Eatery, Grounded Patio Cafe, Taqueria Pato Azul, and La Crosse Distilling Company, and Bodega Brew Pub. And don't forget to check out Tom Conrad playing at Big Al's for us tonight. The Pints for Polio tickets still on sale until 3 p.m. this afternoon, and they will also be there at Big Al's if you want to check it out tonight. And shortly after the close of TriCon 2023, I want to remind everybody you will receive an evaluation request. Please give us your feedback, as this will help us to only continue to improve our Rotary TriCon experience. With that, we will reconvene here at 3 p.m. for our closing session, and make sure to stick around for that because there will be a drawing to win 3 free hotel nights at the Hyatt Regency Green Bay for the TriCon 2024 at that closing session. You do have to be present to win that drawing, and also you'll have a second chance to win if you do complete the post-conference evaluation and provide your name and email address. So I will see you back here at 3 p.m. With that, plenary session number 4 for this TriCon 2023 is adjourned.